when I look at it, it looked as though there was less and less participation for some of the smaller firms. It's kind of the idea. And the question was going to lead into how do we start helping some of those? Obviously, by definition, there's a small business definition, right? But then there's micro business. And I think a lot more people fall, everyone obviously falls under small business, but I think a lot more people might fall under micro business, like say $250 to maybe $1 million.
Right. And I think that's why it's important to make sure that they're taking advantage of SBA's resources to be able to scale quickly to meet these challenges. Because obviously, if you're a $250,000 business and you do training and support, there may be a contract out there, just a $2 million contract, and you're 8A and you want to have the scope and capacity to do it. This is where collaboration matters. This is where it's great that our Drive 8A is going to make sure that if you're year 2, that you're talking to another training and support 8A that's $1 million a year business, and the two of you together have everything needed to compete for this contract. And I think that's just part of what we have to do, because if you're going to join these programs, every day is precious when you're in an 8A. It may seem like things aren't moving fast in year 1 through 3 if in the past, but I guarantee you when things start rolling in year 8 and you're in the final years, you're going to wish you had every day back that you had in the beginning. So part of our job is to help you scale, and part of that is access to capital. Part of that is making sure that we're offering you our SBA products to make sure that if you're a small business and you're doing $250,000 a year, that you could do 2.5 if you had the right access to capital to attain what was necessary to win a contract. We see that a lot. I was talking to a young man who had a moving company who was one of our 8As. He was a $150,000 a year company, but with access to capital, he was able to win a contract for $3 million, being the premier mover out of a military base, moving people's personal effects on and off the base. And this is a young African-American man who was 23 years old. Now, did he think when he had a $100,000 business that he could do that contract? No.
Right.
But when he talked to SBA and we helped him understand how he could scale in order to meet that contractual obligation, what he needed to put together as far as his proposal, and making sure that he was properly bonded to meet the requirements, and SBA does bonding as well. So we can put you in position to win. I think it's just that, when we speak of the smaller businesses, it's always got to be about, how can you scale and what's your plan to scale to meet the opportunity that's in front of you.
Would that be where the All Small Mentor Project program comes into play?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that allows anybody to partner with anybody, just about, as long as they're a small business. And that's a wide definition depending on what you do. But absolutely, that gives that allows our Drive 8A program to recruit larger small businesses to serve as mentors that aren't a part of that programs that we have. They won't be 8A. They'll be large, and they can, you can work with them to do a program to where you could be a mentee of a larger company and compete as though you're the same firm. You can be a $200,000 construction firm, and you can partner with, a large construction firm, and you can compete as the same entity through a joint venture the SBA will approve. So you don't have to just compete as a $250,000, $200,000, $100,000 firm. You can if you want to, but if you don't have to, you can absolutely find a partner that will work with you in order to give you the capacity to build and grow quickly.
Now, and this is all great stuff. I'm very excited to hear about it because I was unfamiliar with this myself. What about help and helping like the veterans and the Hub Zone and the other socioeconomic programs like Women On? Is there anything coming out along the same pipe?
Right. So I think they're all interconnected, and so I'll say this: it's definitely the goal of the 8A program is to make sure that, now with our Drive 8A program is not to just worry about how you're doing year 1 through 9 while you're in the program, but to hopefully have you succeed year 10 through 20. And having that different perspective forces us to ask the questions about what do we do as these 8As start graduating from our program. And part of that is right now, the big push is to make sure that all of our 8As are looking at becoming Hub Zone before they leave the program.
Oh.
And so by doing that, we're finding some special opportunities in communities that want to recruit our 8As. So I'm working very hard right now with local economic development authorities and cities around the region to say, look, let's figure out what we need to do to recruit these 8As to your hub zones, because the hub zone is really important because, yes, you can have specific government preference by being a hub zone, but the benefit to these cities is that they have to hire 35% of their people have to go to bed in that hub zone at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes a jobs program. It becomes an economic stimulant for these local communities. And so I hope that all of our 80s are looking at, becoming hub zone, and that's a goal, but also for our women-owned and veteran-owned businesses. So that's a big part of our transition strategy, because everybody can become hub zone. They just got to be able to move there. And we're trying to work with local governments and economic development councils to make sure that we can help those cities become competitive. Because, for a city, it's great to be able to recruit a successful minority-owned business that's doing $5 to $10 million a year. That's a boom for them. So,
sure, absolutely.
So by doing this, we're making our 8As a hot commodity and creating a environment so they can be competitively sought after to move into hub zone areas.